You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we are happy to have you aboard. And likely, if you're listening to it on Friday, it is evening because I'm a little late today. Today is November 22nd, 2022. 2024. It's a Friday, and it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengel, and I love Central Indiana basketball. We had 3 games Thursday, including big wins from Alexandria and Sheridan. We'll have full reports from those games coming up in just a couple of minutes. The biggest part of this segment is Friday's previews. We have 11 local games on Friday, led by the Frankton-Lapel rivalry. Elwood looking to go 5-0 for the first time since Shelley Rinbarger's 2020, I'm having a hard time with years today. 2004-05 team that went 20-4, and a big Hosier Heritage Conference game between Pendleton Heights and Greenfield Central. Before we get to that, a reminder that we'll have basketball scoreboards, both boys and girls, most nights, every day of the week, Tuesday through Sunday, starting now through the end of March, probably. And on the one day we don't have a scoreboard, Monday, we will have our week in review. Also, we released our Frankton boys basketball season preview earlier this week and our Alexandria basketball preview earlier today. This weekend, we'll have Elwood and Madison Grant season previews for you. Pretty sure we'll have Tipton and Tri-Central early next week. We're trying to start wrestling and swimming scoreboards as well, but we haven't had much luck making contacts with coaches. If you're a wrestling or swimming coach out there, I'm looking for a leader to try to help me get wrestling scoreboard started. Same with swimming. I've had a little more success with swimming. I've had no success with wrestling, but I promise at the very least, we will get out to the events and have scoreboards for the big meets. Of course, this is the first year of a mini-year project, so we expect to get better and better every year. We expect to provide more and more every year. For now, we're just kind of trying to get our feet under us, and we're going to focus mostly on basketball. Also, I should mention, we do plan on doing some bowling in that format as well. We've had a lot of luck with the basketball coaches so far. Their response to us has been fantastic, and they are looking forward to promoting their team through the Central Indiana Sports Report. Speaking of which, we will have our CIC season preview on Tuesday. We expect to have probably all 8 coaches participate in that one. We start Thursday's scoreboard at Yorktown, where Class 2A number 7 Alexandria improved to 6-0 for the second time in 4 seasons with a 56-43 win at Yorktown. Alexandria senior star Jacqueline Hosier scored 27 points, right around her season average. She also had 9 rebounds and made 6 three-pointers, also game highs. Her classmate Lily Harp had 14 points and 8 rebounds. Oh, also a game best 7 steals. Another senior, Riley Kellums, contributed 8 points. Obviously, Alexandria head coach Mickey Hosier is pretty happy to have his team at 6-0 going into Tuesday's game at Anderson Prep and Wednesday's huge home game against rival Lapel.
Yeah, we like where we are. We had a tough battle last night at Yorktown, but still a lot of season to go. But you can't not like 6-0, and we've done it in a number of ways. But yeah, we're excited where we're at.
Coach Hosier said his team showed toughness through a cold shooting night.
Yeah, we didn't shoot it well, and I told their coach they handled our pressure about as well as anybody so far, but it was just more of a battle, and I thought Lily played really well, and Jacqueline had a good night, and Riley Callums played well, and then we just kind of got some contributions from other girls as well.
Yorktown is now 2-2. They were led by 18 points from sophomore Olivia Conklin, and sophomore Alexis Fields added 13. The Tigers are now 2-2 and host rival Delta in their Hosier Heritage Conference opener on Tuesday. Sheridan held previously unbeaten Covenant Christian to 32% shooting, forced 25 turnovers, had 15 steals and held the Warriors to 28 points in an 8-point win Thursday in Indianapolis. Sheridan also had 20 turnovers and didn't shoot the ball very well in the win. Senior star Kinsey Garner had just 7 points and was 1 for 13 from the field, 2 nights after scoring 30 against Brebeuf. She did have 7 rebounds, 4 steals, and 3 assists. Sophomore Brielle Garner led the Blackhawks with 8 points. Cecilia and Sadie Timmy combined for 8 points and 8 steals. The win came 2 nights after the Blackhawks' first loss of the season, 54-51 to Brebeuf. The Blackhawks go to Western Boone on Tuesday to face the 1-0 Stars. Actually, they won't be 1-0 then because they play Southmont on Friday. Covenant senior Vivian Hafner led all scorers with 9 points. Sophomore star Kinsey Koch had 25 points, 4 steals, and 3 assists to help Class 2A number 15 Eastern Hancock beat Cowan 64-12. Sophomore Bella Sotella added 17 points for the 6-0 Royals. Cowan is now 1-6 and hosts unbeaten Elwood on Monday. We're trying to spread this around, I promise, but sometimes the obvious is just obvious. The Central Indiana Sports Report Girls Basketball Player of the Day is Alexandria senior Jacqueline Hosier, whose 27 points and 9 rebounds helped the Tigers beat Yorktown 54-43 on Wednesday. Now to Friday's previews. Lapel is 2-3 and Frankton is 2-2 heading into Friday's big rivalry game. Lapel is coming off a 60-16 win over Hamilton Heights on Tuesday, while the Eagles took a 51-38 loss at Muncie Central in their last outing. Michelle Garmon will be at Frankton and will have a report on Saturday's girls basketball scoreboard. And here she is with a bit of a preview. You got a good one tonight, Michelle. A rivalry between 2 really good programs.
It's a rivalry. So if nothing else, it should be good for a while. I think it will be. I think the key is, can Frankton find someone other than Emma Key to step up?
I mean, it looks like Lapel is the better team for sure, but I don't think that's been proven yet, so it should be pretty interesting.
It should be. The one thing is, Lapel has Wills, and she will be by far the best player on the basketball court tonight.
Correct. That is absolutely true.
Frankton's young and very well coached, so I kind of expect them to kind of improve throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff is going to do a great job. You said it. They're young. They lost 2,000-point career scores. They graduated 2 players who were members of that their last state runner-up team. Key players, and Emma Key had emerged. She was one of them last year. I thought that she got better as the season progressed, and Sophia Hoagland too. I think what they need is, I think Hoagland needs to be able to become what she kind of was at the end last year. She needs to step up and be a second steady scorer, and then whichever Curtis can come up and get points for him in the post and on rebound baskets. Yeah, Emma Sperry was so versatile last year.
Right.
And she did a lot of that stuff and could do a lot of that stuff. And that's Frankton misses that. And she was a demon on the glass as well. And that's going to be that will be the true key for Frankton tonight. Can Frankton rebound? Can they keep Wills off the offensive and Lapel off the offensive glass? Can they defend her? I don't know what they'll do. I think Frankton's always been a master. It doesn't matter who it's been as the head coach, whether it's been Jeff Bates or Stephen Hamaker before him, or if it's Brent Brobston on the boys' side. They've always been good at multiple defenses, not kind of being able to throw in a different defense on occasion. I wouldn't be surprised if Frankton doesn't maybe try to throw a junk defense in a little bit at times. I don't think they'll play one throughout the game, but if there will be, certain situations where they do a little junk. I don't know Jeff's thoughts on this, but I know if it was me, I would kind of play Wills a man and a half. Meaning, I always have someone on her and she is immediately helped on and then you make sure their best outside shooter is covered, and then until others can prove that they can knock down the outside shot.
Absolutely.
I would make Frank or Lapel prove to me they can beat me by hitting threes before I give up 40 to even 30, 28, 30 points to Wills.
Elwood is off to its best season in over a decade and looks to start 5-0 for the first time since the Panthers went 20-4 and won a sectional championship in 2005. The Panthers have their toughest test yet this season Friday when they go to Wabash to face 2-1 Southwood. The Panthers aren't just 4-0. They're beating teams by an average of 23.7 points per game. In fact, Elwood has doubled up its opponents' points this season. 3 of their 4 wins have come on the road, including a 53-18 win at Frankfurt in their last outing, which was quite a while ago on November 12th. Both the Knights' wins came against winless teams. Southwood went 7-15 last year and won 42-37 at Elwood in its season opener. The Knights have beaten the Panthers the last 3 years by a combined 78 points. Sophomore Hallie Pershing and junior Grace Lambert have been Southwood's top scorers so far. Pershing has scored at least 12 points in every game this season and had a season-best 15 Tuesday in a 48-16 win over Eastern. She's shooting 59% from the floor for the year. Lambert has scored at least 11 in every game and is averaging 12. Big Hoosier Heritage contest Friday at Greenfield when the 4-1 Cougars are visited by 3-2 Pendleton Heights. The Arabians are the reigning co-champions of the Hoosier Heritage and beat Greenfield 55-26 on their way to the championship last year. Greenfield finished third at 5-2 in the conference. The Arabians have won 20 of their last 22 conference games. They are coming off a 72-46 loss to state champion and top-ranked Lawrence Central. Pendleton led almost half of the game before the Bears completely dominated the second half. Seniors Emma Roberts and Casey Warfel and junior Mamie Trout scored 38 of the Arabians' 46 points in the defeat. Greenfield Central is 4-1 for the second straight season. The Cougars went 17-7 last year and are led by a trio of talented seniors in Brooklyn McConnell, Madison Shanisi, and Cheney Brown. They're averaging 33 points, 16 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 5.4 steals combined. Pendleton has beaten Greenfield Central 8 straight times, including a couple of postseason victories. Tipton looks to snap a 5-game losing streak and win its first Hoosier Conference game Friday at Western. The Blue Devils started off with a win over Eastern, but are winless since and are averaging just 24.4 points per game. Western is 1-2 and 1-0 so far in Rusheville. The Panthers are led by a trio of senior Rihanna Bowman, junior Elise Walden, and sophomore Ella Rowling, who combined are averaging 28.7 points, grabbing 18.3 rebounds, handing out 2.4 assists, and getting 2 steals per contest. Western won 75-3 at Western over Tipton last year. Tipton is off till December 4th after this game, and Western is off till December 5th. Oak Hill is 3-0 for the first time since 2017 and should go 4-0 Friday when it hosts 1-3 Madison Grant, which is dealing with some injuries. In their last outing, the Argyles were beaten 72-20 at home on Friday without point guard Jasmine Rainey. She said Friday that she will not be back for the Oak Hill game, but hopes to return next Saturday when the Argyles host Wabash. It would have been a tough test for Madison Grant with Rainey. It will be even tougher without her, of course. Oak Hill is holding opponents to 31 points per game. The Golden Eagles have been led by senior Liz Godfrey, who's averaging 15 points per game, and sophomore Landry Hardman, who's averaging 12.3 points, 4.3 assists, 4 steals, and 3.7 rebounds through 3 games. Tri-Central plays its first Hoosier Heartland contest Friday at Taylor. The Trojans are 1-2 after beating Tipton and taking losses against Frankton and Lewis Cass, 2 pretty good teams. Taylor is winless but has been fairly competitive in their first year under head coach Tiffany Boroff. Junior Logan Creason is having a big year for Tri-Central. She's averaging 18 points and 14.7 rebounds through 3 games. Taylor also has a star in senior Jelena Harrison. She's averaging 28 of the Titans' 39 points per game. She also averages 10.5 rebounds and 4.5 steals. The Trojans have beaten Taylor 3 straight times. 0-4 Eastern opens Hoosier Heartland play Friday at home against Rossville. The Hornets are 1-1 and have beaten the Comets each of the last 2 years. Eastern senior Marley Cone is the team's leading scorer at 7.3 points per game and the leading rebounder at 8.5. Rossville is led by junior forward Ava Burkle, who's averaging 13 points and 8 rebounds. Delta is 4-1 through 5 games for the second year in a row and looks to make it 5-1 for the second year in a row Friday at home against Wapahani. It's Delta's first home game since beating Muncie Central 39-34 in the season opener. The Eagles' only loss came against unbeaten Alexandria on the road, 65-45 last week. Since then, they've beaten Cowan and Newcastle in their third and fourth consecutive road games by a combined 73 points. Wapahani is only one game into its season. The Raiders dominated Union 53-28 in their opener. They started 4-0 last year, including a 48-35 home win over Delta on November 17th. Delta has 3 players averaging at least 9.5 points per game, led by Griffin Knight 17.6. Junior Jillian Barr is averaging 13.4 points and 13.2 rebounds through 5 games. Senior Kimber Abshir had 19 points and 14 rebounds in the Raiders' win over Union. Coming off its first loss of the season, 3-1 Lewis Cass looks to bounce back at Northwestern in a Three Rivers Conference contest Friday. Cass dominated its first 3 opponents before a 49-34 defeat at the hands of unbeaten Kokomo on Tuesday. The Tigers are 2-2 after having won their last 2 games, with a 1-point win over Delphi and a 32-point win over Tipton. Northwestern is getting 27 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists, and 7 steals per game from the trio of seniors Anna Bisher and Berkeley Ray, and freshman Brooklyn Conwell. Macy Rohde had a season-best 17 points to lead the Tigers to the win over Tipton. It's the conference opener for Northwestern. Cass beat Class A number 17 Carroll in its conference opener. 2A number 17 Cass ended a 7-game losing streak to Northwestern last year in its regional championship season. Muncie Central has won its last 2 games and looks to make it 3 straight Friday at former conference rival Newcastle. The Bearcats are 2-2. Newcastle is 1-4. After dropping the first 2 games of the season, the Bearcats beat Marion and Frankton at home. This is their first road game since a 57-37 loss at Class A number 12 Northeastern on November 12th. Newcastle started 0-3 before a 44-39 win over Union County last Friday. The Trojans fell to 1-4 with a 48-36 home loss to Delta on Thursday. Someone is getting their first win Friday when Burris visits Westell. Both teams are entering the contest 0-5. The teams played twice last year, and both teams won at home. The Warriors have won 5 of the last 6 in the series. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana girls basketball. Thanks to Mickey Hosier and Michelle Garmon for joining the podcast. But thanks most of all to you for listening. Couldn't be more appreciative. You know what? I could. If you'd tell a friend, I'd be just a little more appreciative. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media.